Yeah. You got me all fired up with the point there. We just got to win. Haley's in. Haley's in. Haley, what's up, Haley? We got to win. I'm all fired up now. Good.
I don't even recognize what that was.
Yeah, that was something different. I got a little bit confused in there. Got a little too excited.
That one came from somewhere. We don't even know where that came from.
I'm looking at this photo of Jen. Color is the spice of life. This is what's up on my Facebook screen.
You know, we were driving by this sign yesterday. The reason why I took that photo, and I saw these signs twice, I was like, man, that's just a cool. Like, I love color. I've always been about color. Yeah. So anything that reflects color, like even looking at the bars with their little colors on top. I don't know why. It's just sort of my thing.
You know what? I was thinking about this yesterday. It's like, I love the mural that you have, and I want to put something on the wall, like a cool selfie wall. I was actually watching this Netflix TV show yesterday, and this guy does magic. And so he brought in 3 social media influencers. They all had 2 million followers themselves, right? So they know everything about camera angles and what's good, what's not, hashtags and what you should write and all this and that. And he says he sat them all 3 down, and they didn't know each other. And he goes, do you guys think that you can be influenced? And they said, no. They said, no, we can't be influenced.
All 3 of them?
All 3 of them.
That's weird.
Right? And so then he said, he started showing, he's like, yeah, I want to show you my Instagram account. So he showed a photo of like a t-shirt. He showed a picture of his kid like reaching down for this watermelon. He showed a picture of this ice baby thing. And he said some type of word. And he said, okay, we're here at this. It's a building that is built around selfies, right? So like they have a bunch. They have like 50 rooms, all like deckled out, pretty cool, like where you can take a selfie from anywhere, and it's awesome, right? Yeah. And he goes, I'm going to give you guys 50 props to use. And there's props in there from like hernia, like inflatable things. There was like toothpaste, there's toothbrushes, there was ice trays, there was just random things that you can take a photo with. And he says, okay, you guys got 5 minutes to take as many photos as you can. Boom, they all ran off. They went into all the different areas. And this building's huge. It's a huge warehouse, right? And so they all went and took photos in different areas. He comes back and he goes, okay. He's like, what I want you to do is go through your camera roll right now. And he goes, I want you to find the best photo that you like. And I want you to post it on social media using one hashtag. And so they all kind of like sat back and
like they picked the hashtag.
Yeah, so they were sitting together, but then they didn't want to show each other, right? So then they posted on their Instagram with the hashtag. And then he goes, all right, so how many of you used this prop, right? So like stevia. Everybody's like, nope. How many people used this pen? And all of them said, nope. How many of you used this ice tray? And they all put their hand up and they looked at each other like, what? Like one photo, 50 props, 50 rooms.
Okay.
They all used the same prop.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, well, how many of you took a photo in the banana room? Nope. How many of you took a photo in the painting room? Nope. How many of you took a photo on the swing in the watermelon room?
Everybody.
Everybody raised their hands. And so he's like, and I want to show you what I took. And he took the photo, and it showed, I posted this a week ago. So even before they knew anything about what was going on, he posted this photo a week ago with the exact hashtag that he used in the exact same room using the ice tray as a prop. And they all use that at the same time. And so it's like, it goes to show you how influential we are by things.
So he
pre-framed them with showing him his Instagram, just like 4 random photos and saying these specific words to get them to reenact exactly what he wanted them to do.
Yeah. So 3 influencers used the same 3 props in the same 3 rooms, and a week before
same 3 hashtags.
Same 3 hashtags. So I see. So the hashtag he used, they knew that. Well, how did they not know that if it was immediate? They must have said like, okay, well, I'm looking at him in the banana room. I'm not going to do it in a banana room. You know what I mean? Like, how is it influenced for them to do it?
So he basically pre-framed them, showing him his Instagram.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, guys, I want to get your opinion on my Instagram. And he picked out 4 specific things that led to them subconsciously.
But not the actual room.
Not the actual room, not the actual photo. He showed a picture
you.
of his son holding a watermelon.
Yeah.
So that's why they went to the watermelon room. He showed a picture of his kid on the swing, right? He's like, you're getting sleepy. And he was like saying words to really trigger them.
Yeah.
And, these are people that thought that they couldn't be influenced.
Yeah. So what did they say after? Were they just
They were just like shocked and astonished. Yeah.
Psychology, eh?
Psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, before we get started, first of all, congratulations. We're at podcast number 50.
Yes.
That's crazy. That's awesome. What's our milestone prize?
Jerome,
you can take us out for dinner?
milestone prize is getting a full physical, and we'll talk about that today.
We're going to talk about that immediately, but first, let's talk about the podcast sponsor. Olafson Jones, CPAs. Olafson Jones are chartered professional accountants with the experience and knowledge in key areas that are important and valuable to their clients. They offer a full range of services for corporate, personal, and not-for-profit organizations, providing made-to-measure practical solutions in audit, accounting, taxation, financial management, controllership, business consulting, and more. Contact them at 204-338-5972, and they're also located pretty much next door, 2 doors down. Let's get right into this and tell me the story about your physical.
Yes.
RJ.
So first,
Who did it?
Olafson Jones, they're just amazing to us, right? Like they're the ones. I was talking to a couple business operators, and we're talking about some of the things that can help with their business, such as like getting that $40,000 loan. And a lot of business owners didn't know about this, and they're struggling. And I'm like, well, you know that if you qualify or whatever, it's like you can do this. And I said, well, who's your accountant? And he goes, this guy. And I'm like, dude, what? You know what I mean? Like you need somebody that's in that field, that's an expert doing it, right? Yep. Anyways, getting back to the physical. So
why do you need a physical?
So for me, I always like to know where I'm at. I don't necessarily need to get one done every year, and obviously there's a lot of health. When you feel like there's something wrong with you, you'll know it, kind of thing, right? But there's always something underlying. Do I need to know that depth? No. Would I go back every year? Probably not. Now, what really sparked it was 2 weeks ago, one of my old clients, Stan, had actually passed away. And he passed away in his sleep due to an enlarged heart.
How old was that guy?
And he couldn't have been much older than 39.
Ooh, a youngster.
So we're very close in age. And so I reached out to Marvin on Facebook, and I said, hey, Marvin, I want to get a physical. Like I want to, you and we're going to build a long-term relationship. And I've been through, I never see my doctor. I don't know how many times I know you see your doctor a little bit more frequent, but your actual like GP. And it's just not a process that I ever really wanted to go through, because not only would you have to book an appointment, and this is just my experience, I'm only speaking from my experience, you would have to book 30 to 60 days in advance, right? And then when you get there, I always show up early for these things, but because you never know, right? You can get in right away, but majority of the time I end up sitting there for 15 minutes in the waiting room, and then I sit for 15 minutes in the actual like physical room, and then I feel like I'm starting over again, right? Like I don't know you, you don't know me, you're just looking at my file, and a lot of times I get shamed. Like that's how my old doctor was. I would just literally get shamed, like, why haven't you been here in 10 years? It's like, well, this is why. You know what I mean? I don't want to get shamed. Like I'm just here for a specific thing, and then we get into a big heated argument about who's right, who's wrong, and it's just not a process. And so with him, it was just like, hey man, like I really want to just get a physical. I want to get a full clean bill of health, and we'll start from there, right? We'll get blood work, the whole shebang, and then we'll develop a long-term plan, just like you would with your coach, right? Like we get into it,
and your accountant,
and then you commit to it, right? And you don't commit to it for 21 days or 30 days, or somebody's offering some different program and we jump ship or whatever it is. Like we just stay focused with the people that I know, like, and trust, right? And so the physical was started off normal. So he gets me into a gown. I'm like, oh, I don't need this gown. Like if I'm just in my boxers, we're good, right? Like we're good. So he tests, like, he does the chest, the whole thing, and then he goes to me, okay, are you ready? And I'm like, ready for what? And he goes, and I'm like, whoa. It's like, are you serious? Like this is actually like a thing? I was like, I didn't think that they did this anymore. He's like, I gotta check your prostate.
I thought they did that through blood work or a different way now too.
That's what my old doctor told me, is that they just do it through blood work.
Maybe that's still the best way.
So they have to feel for inflammation, I guess, like into the prostate, right? So if your prostate's inflamed, then that's how they got to do it. So that was a new experience. That's pretty embarrassing to share on Facebook, but hey, it's something that I'll always talk about.
What did he say right before it went in?
Oh man, I don't even know.
Motivational, loving.
It's funny when something like that. If it's an awkward situation or there's pain, like I've had needles stuck in me or whatever, deep massage. I tend to just start laughing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so I was just laughing. right? His wife's upstairs, and yeah, it was.
So do you find it weird because he's kind of a buddy of ours too, Martin from Home Health MP. He's also one of our sponsors.
You have to.
And he's a young cat.
He is a young cat.
You know what I mean?
He's just a couple years younger than me.
Yeah,
and you definitely have to let go and just put full trust in the process and just understand that he's a professional. So not only that, but I've had to so the next part of that portion was they got to feel your testicles to see if there's any abnormal swelling or fluids or whatever's going on there. So, he's like, hey, I got to see your penis.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no man has seen my penis. I don't even shower facing inwards. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the guy in the corner, turned away, probably in my boxers still. You know what I mean? It's just something about that, right? And I'm like, dude, I just worked out. I'm all sweaty. I stink. And he's like, it's okay,
whatever.
Man. Yeah, he's like, it's okay, man. I was like,
and like, what are you trying to date the guy? Like, it's just funny how you go into that process.
Yeah.
Like, wait, I got to make sure it looks good for you first.
Did I shave? Right. And, trying to get a half chub to look, somewhat decent. But
to impress the man in the room.
Yeah. And I was probably more uncomfortable with that than the finger. So,
all right. So you got the dingle.
Yeah.
You got the finger.
Yep.
So I guess you haven't got any results yet, or
we haven't gotten results. And so the nice thing about it is, getting the blood work done. So he's coming to my house on Thursday, and so he's going to draw blood, and then he takes it right to the labs. And for a small fee, right, very very modest fee for me not to have to, when we bring Jet and Kai down to their doctor's appointment in downtown in the medical arts building or whatever, the new one, I mean, we're looking at $6-7 for parking. Then we got to get these guys, we got to lug them in the cold, we got to bring them, and then we got to go, and then we got to wait. And I love it there because we got clients that are there, and so we joke around with them. But then it's like it's a whole thing. It's for a 10-minute visit. It was a 2-hour process because you got to get in the car, got to get everybody, and sure, it was free. But I mean, what's an hour or in that case, 2 to 3 hours of your time worth, right?
What's the frustration of your children when you got to park? What's that worth? You know what I mean? $100?
Exactly.
So it should cost, and it should cost whatever it has to at that point.
And to get blood work right now would take you forever, right? Because of the whole Corona thing. So he comes to your house, he draws the blood, and he actually goes and delivers it to the lab results, and then any type of prescriptions, or he does a follow-up after that. So any prescriptions or whatever it is that you need done, it's literally just a phone call away versus having to go and visit them, small talk, waiting room, sick people, right?
Exactly.
People don't go to the hospital if they're healthy, right?
Yeah.
Not many people go and just get a random physical like me, right? They wait till the end. And so to not be around all that, I'd pay that modest fee.
Yeah, for sure. So let's pivot on to something different here. We had, we did a outdoor workout this last weekend. Everybody loved it, but apparently
I loved it.
You were telling me that we got a little bit of backlash.
You know what? And it's not as big as it is. Obviously, when we get something as an email from somebody kind of shaming us, you got to take it one of two ways, right? So one is that Fit Club always gets the most amount of exposure, right? And because of that, we're often the ones that get shamed early and often, right? So when we stayed open, we took the biggest. I bet you nobody else felt the lashings like we did. And now that the government is it's hard to say what is right now, right? So I had no clue that you weren't allowed to have a public gathering larger than 10 people, and so they're classifying it as if you're running classes, but we weren't running a class. Literally, we didn't exchange any dollar amount for that, right? It was all volunteer. I volunteered my time. You guys were all there as volunteers. And the people that came just kind of randomly showed up. We didn't take attendance. We weren't booking people in, book this slot in, this and that. We literally just went out there, and from what we read through the government articles that were provided to us, it said that you can have a social gathering of up to 50 people. And then so the next day, this Sharon something, I don't know what her full name is, but apparently the Manitoba Fitness Council and is they had some type of post that they made that we're supposed to commend to, right? And I'm like, first of all, I don't follow the Manitoba Fitness Council. Second of all, they're not the governing bodies for fitness in Manitoba. And third, there isn't a governing body for fitness. So it's who what rules should I be following, right? And so we had a couple people that followed up with it in a negative, but if you read the CBC article and if you read the post that I made, there is like a lot of back and forth, which got super interesting because I didn't know any of those people in there. But the majority of it is that people are happy to get back and back to being around people. Even if it was 20 feet apart, people are just happy to see other people. And I think by you staying home in fitness right now, it's, there's a good majority of people that are continuously working out. But I think a lot of people aren't working out to their full capacity as if they were in person. And so when they see other people working out harder, as hard or if not harder than them, then they feel accountable to going a little bit harder and maybe eating a little bit better.
Yeah, and that's the answer right there. You got to be surrounded by other people who are on the same path as you to push you just a little bit. You can't do it. I mean, you can do it in Zoom and you can do it through a camera like we've been doing it, but when you have the ability to be surrounded by other people who are trying to win in life, you're going to push yourself a little bit harder. And I feel like, I've been disagreeing with this whole thing, all these rules that we've been hit with for the entire 2 months, and I've kind of stood fast with my position on it. I understand that we didn't know what was going to happen, so we had to just assume the worst. But now that we have 2.5 months under our belt, or 2.5 months, we can start to see exactly what it is. And I feel like now real life has to get back. We need to work out in groups again. And of course, those who are still fearful, that's your decision. Stay at home.
Yeah. Well, and what we're doing is we're accommodating that too, right? I mean, we're giving you I've been looking at other people's like offerings, and I think it's great what they're doing, but we're really trying to make it in-home experience, right? Like, I mean, from the $1,000 in lightings that we've invested in, from like the little glow lights, from the 4 camera angles that we got, like we've really put into it because we understand how hard it is, right? If I were to do a home workout by myself, if I was forced to do it, I would want to do one of ours. And that's like the passion that we've put into it. And so we want to continue to offer the virtual workouts, even when we're allowed to open. Now, unless we get word today, I don't feel like we should open next week. You know what I mean? Like, let's say on Wednesday, they're like, you guys should open on Monday. Like, I just think that we need to ease back into this, and we're going to plan tomorrow. We have a big, like, how we're going to do it. But I think at the same time is that you need to do it right. And I feel like if people are going to rush this, then there's going to be problems with it because people are still not fully able to adapt to other people, right? Like, I was on the road today at 6:15 in the morning, and it was packed, and I could see it. It's like 20% more cars as this thing goes on and on and on. Now, let me ask you this, Rick. What do you think? I mean, Manitoba has 0 new cases. There could be a new case as of 5 minutes ago. Okay, right? Yep. We understand there's very low cases, we'll say.
Right.
But Ontario got another big outbreak. Quebec got another big outbreak. So it's like, what about the Manitobans? Like, do you think that they should just not allow cross-border? Because if a Manitoban, a lot of people have their cabins out in Ontario, right? So it's like if they go over there and then they got to go and get groceries from Kenora or wherever they are, they could potentially get infected with it, and then they bring it back. Do you think that they should just kind of like hold steady on the?
So no domestic cross borders. Yeah. Everybody just stay within your own province. I mean, I guess that would be impossible.
Yeah,
it'd be impossible because we don't have anybody at the borders.
Nobody's policing,
right? So how would you ever do that? I think at the end of the day, what we have to do is, yes, I understand Quebec and Ontario. They're, but they're big provinces. They got big airports. They're bringing people in. I don't know if that's still a factor. But to answer your question, no, I don't. I feel like we're at the point now where, and they just have a huge population, right? So it's just based on numbers, really.
Yeah. It's like California, Vancouver, right?
Exactly. I think at the end of the day, we stay strong with respect to being responsible adults, and we make sure that we social distance and we take all the precautions necessary. But, life has to move on. It has to go. And should we stop the interprovincial cross borders? No, I don't think we should. I think everybody, for the most part, is staying home. They're staying kind of close to their home or whatever. I mean, I understand people have cabins, but that's a very small percentage of people. And in fact, you're going to see a lot of the trends now encouraging people to, as far as travel and getting away this year, is to stay home. Have a staycation and support your restaurants.
Yeah.
And,
normally we leave. Like that. We go somewhere in the summer. We'll go to last year we were in Kelowna. This year we're just gonna chill out here, man. There's so much to do.
There is.
Manitoba.
Get to know your own city.
I challenge people out there to find 5 hikes out. Actually, that's in our next Lean and Quarantine challenge. So we got a 14-day challenge, and one of them is to find a hike in the city.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to go take a photo at a hike in the city, and there's some really good ones. Whittier's got awesome hikes. I got a wicked hike in my backyard. There's tons of trails in the city that you can go to, and then out of like within Manitoba, dude, there's so many, man. And I suggest everybody to go north versus going east and west. I find if you go east, that it's more rocky.
Okay.
Right. So there's like beautiful water, but I find that the trails aren't as depending on your level of ability, right? So for us with the kids,
super challenge, you might want to go east-west.
Yeah. So when we went more east, actually west is good, but when we went east, we did the Hunt Lake hike, Nary and I. Yeah. And so I had jet in my backpack, and the trails aren't marked off, and it was kind of like between winter and spring, so it was warm enough. It was probably 20 degrees, but there was still snow on the ground. And dude, we got lost. If I didn't have my phone, we would have been somewhere.
Did you?
Oh, it was nuts. And like I remember walking, and I'm walking with confidence, and I remember falling one time, and I was like, "Oh my god, what are we doing here? This is nuts!" Yeah. Right? But I up north, there's one that's called Spirit Sands.
I heard of it.
Yeah, and
what's that like?
It's eerie. Right? Because the whole trail, so we're used to being compacted mud or man-made trails. Mm-hmm. This is all just sand dunes. And it's not like thin sand. It's thick, fine, beautiful, like that beautiful Grand Beach sand. Yeah. It's fine, and there's like mountains and hills, and then they got like these outlooks, and it's just a wicked hike. So we did that one summer where we hit up Manitoba's top 10 trails. Mm-hmm. And I would suggest that instead of people trying to force a vacation to Vegas or, somewhere else, Vancouver or Montreal or whatever, it's like there's tons to do here. Mm-hmm. It's, and I challenge people to, instead of being city dwellers, meaning like going out and going to like Minneapolis, outlet malls, shopping, you know what I mean? Spending a ton of cash on going to the Mall of America, like just save your money, grab some food, have a wicked picnic, go for a nice hike.
Yeah.
Right?
You got it. Mm-hmm. It's my number one thing to do, and I've we've been doing this for a long time now, is jumping on the bike, packing a nice lunch, riding somewhere, and then, I got these little compact chairs that fit in my backpack. Yeah. We open them up. It's just really nice, and you see part of the city that you never knew existed. Yeah. If you can get on the trails, and one of the great things to do, if you're looking for a trail, go to the river. Mm-hmm. At some point, the river's going to have a trail. Start there, and then just go side to side. It's a great way to do it.
Seine River is really nice.
Where's that one? Is that one over in St. Boniface?
Yeah, St. Boniface, right behind Acceleration Performance there. Yeah. Like I think they got a Robbins. And there's a trail back there. And it reminded me when Jen and I went to Austin, Texas. Mm-hmm. Like you're literally right next to the river. And it's such a very cool trail.
Yeah. Actually, we were cycling through there last year, and I remember that's a place where you can be inside the city and see deer. Yeah. It's super cool. And you got a different river system that you're not used to. So it's like this little hidden gem. And a lot of people that I've taken there on bikes didn't even know it existed. Yeah. They might have heard of it, but they didn't understand how awesome it was.
So let's get the audience. Let's ask the audience, what is their number one trail within the city? If they don't know, then maybe number one trail that they've done in all of Manitoba. Mm-hmm. Even Birds Hill. Birds Hill has a bunch of little trails that you can kind of branch off to. So.
And it's a good place to go because it's very set out for you. Yeah. You don't have to overthink it, get overly adventurous. Mm-hmm. You can park your car nice and close, and then you're right at the trailhead. And, if you get lost, pretty much all you got to do is holler. Somebody's going to be around to find you.
Are they opening up the beaches? Is that something that they're planning?
That's a good question. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I would think so.
Yeah.
I know that, we were ripping around this weekend, and I never saw more than 5 masks.
Oh, yeah. Me either. Yeah.
I don't know why everybody's all talking about masks, social distancing. No one was social distancing either. Everybody was on top of each other. Like we went to Assiniboine Park the other day, and I guess I shouldn't say everybody. I guess everybody was sort of spaced out, but you can see it wasn't an intentional spaced out. They just had to be that way because they were throwing a football or something like that, right? Yeah. And I just saw actually something on Facebook that in Winnipeg at the Costco's, it's going to be recommended that you wear a face mask. Mm. So the sign, they posted on what the sign's going to say. So I'm just sitting there thinking, way to cause a little more confusion. Yeah. Right? It's recommended that you wear a mask, but if you don't, are you going to be inundated with all the people giving you sideways look because you're not wearing it? Yeah. So why don't they take a stance that says you absolutely do, or you can't come in here, or you don't. Or you don't, you know what I mean?
Well, that's kind of where everything is right now. Like nobody really knows what the heck's going on, and I get it. The government's super confused too, and so if you accidentally run a program like an outdoor volunteered social gathering or whatever it is that you want to call it, you can't get mad at people because we're just going off the little bit of information that we're fed, and the thing is everybody is dying to get back to seeing each other. That's like the biggest thing. And so when businesses open up, like garden centers, and people aren't socially distancing, like, is it up to the business owner to ask the people to, hey, you guys are 3 feet versus 6 feet apart? Like,
it is.
Yeah. But are they supposed to walk around and police this? Like, I was at Garden City Mall. They had three security guards there walking the thing. It was like we're on lockdown.
Yep.
And there wasn't even like that many people there.
Yeah, I know. And so think about the how angry people are going to be.
Yeah.
You know, everybody should know that we have rules to follow. Businesses don't want to impose rules because we know it pisses people off, and you don't want to put a bad taste in your mouth with respect to that particular business. But I mean, Carrie from Mountain Bean, she came in here and she was talking, and basically it's almost like they're setting you up for failure.
Yeah.
And what happens is, so if you, as a business, you have somebody come in and you have stickers on the floor, or you're indicating, you have signs on the door, you're putting it out there that you are in fact participating in the whole process of keeping everybody safe. But two people decide that, hey, I'm going to sit down for 1 second and tie my shoelace, or two people know each other and they get close and they start talking. How is it the business owner's problem? And if they see that, if the city sees that business gets fined. You know what I mean? So that's the tough line. Like, how do you as a business owner, you don't want to anger them. You're like, hey guys, don't do that, because then you look like some crazy person that's not allowing anybody to have fun. But on the same side too, what position are you put into? So I don't even know why businesses would want to open. You know what I mean?
This early.
Like,
would you rather just open and just say, hey, things are back to normal, or do you got to open and not know what strict restrictions and put the sign up and getting all the Karens hitting you up?
Exactly.
Can you define what a Karen is? Because you're not the first person to say that to me.
Well,
you are the first person to say it, but you're not I've heard it multiple times.
Yeah, the internet has created a Karen, and the Karens are basically the ladies, the middle-aged, and they have a particular haircut, and they always want to speak to the manager. They always want to complain about something.
Okay.
These are the social justice warriors. They're always the ones that are kind of schooling you on what you're doing wrong, and they're the ones that are verbal about it, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? And the thing about the Karen, and you guys can you can Google it. I think it's even in the dictionary now or something like that. Is just the way that they're just so condescending and they're always right.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So that's why whenever we reference the Karens, that's what it means. And we didn't make that up. The internet made that up. So if you're a Karen, don't be offended unless you're a Karen. Then go ahead.
So there's negative Nancy.
Negative Nancy, yeah.
There's Karen. Is there anything for guys?
I don't know. I'm not sure if we've stuck a name out yet or not.
We got to find out one for a man.
So here's a question that you're not going to hear too much right now. But
I actually happen to like a lot of people named Karen. So when I think
we have a ton of Karens here.
Yeah, there's a ton of Karens, and so I'm just like, oh man, that's so funny.
Yeah. But you know what? It's funny because they even had I can't remember what it was on the from Karens about Karens, and they're like, totally, that's exactly what they're. I'm not offended by that, but I know exactly. You know what I mean? So obviously, it doesn't mean if your name is Karen, but it's just that stereotype, right?
Got it.
So I had somebody come up and say that they haven't gained any weight. In fact, they've plateaued.
Yep.
Which means they're doing really well.
Yeah, that's
you know what
phenomenal.
I mean? Like if you're holding fast, congratulations, you're a 99%.
That's all you got to do.
How do you get over that plateau? So let's pretend that COVID doesn't exist.
Okay.
You have done everything you can. Your nutrition is on point. What do you got to do to shake it up to get your body moving in the right direction again?
Well, like the workout we did today will definitely shake people's bodies up, right?
Yeah.
So we threw in a couple different elements of training styles within the Tabata HIIT style. That's one of the ways is that you can do it is to shake up your workouts. Number two is to really, if you're not monitoring your food, then you can monitor your food. I feel like that's the next level up. And then the third is just supplementation, right? So those are like three typical ways that you can do it. But a lot of times when people hit a plateau, it means that their body is, I'd ask that person is, and actually I'm talking to somebody about that right now, and it's like, well, how long have you been working out? And so there's going to be a point, yes, where you've kind of like hit that peak, and then there's a point where your gains are very small, right? So it's like if you're down to below 20% body fat, it's the next big step is getting down to 10, right? But 10 is very unmanageable, right? Unless you're naturally, and you'll know these people, they're skinny, they're lean, they've got a ton of muscle, but they're not big. and they can't gain weight, right? Their body types are built like that. So for you, if you're coming from the other spectrum, then it's like, okay, well, now instead of you losing in the leaps and bounds that you're used to, now it's going to be inches and steps, right? And so the time and the consistency to build up that dense muscle is what's going to make the difference. And then we talked about like having a weekend where you don't where you cut out the cheats. It's cutting out eating 3 hours before bed. After that, it's all about just the small improvements. And so you just add a new tool into your utility belt that's going to get you that 1% gain, right? So meaning like you might lose 1% body weight in a month, right? Which is like, that's still big because you're still dropping body fat. Or you might gain a percentage of muscle every 30 days or 60 days or whatever, however long it takes. So I would just say that when you get to that point that you've hit a plateau, I don't think that there's anything grandioso that you got to do, but I think that it's now just a matter of maintaining what you've been doing and then adding on a small layer.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think your goals have to go from being general to specific. And like when you have a lot of weight to lose, your goal is to lose weight. That's it, right? And I wouldn't even recommend losing that much weight that quickly, to be honest. But once you get to a certain level where you've lost, say, the majority of your weight, now you have to be very specific as far as maybe you want to improve your bicep curl. Maybe you want to do more chin-ups. Maybe you want to do more push-ups. Like it should specifically be that as opposed to just lose another 10 pounds. You know what I mean?
And sometimes you need to challenge yourself too, right?
Yeah,
so it's like the other day we were doing the bench off with the boys, right?
Yeah.
And Rick didn't even have a real goal in this. What were you coming into this? So here's the pre-frame.
Yeah.
Boys were doing 65-pound dumbbell chest press for reps. That's the challenge we put out there. The goal, the number one was 26 reps. And then Rick came in there and did 30, right?
Yeah.
Like you didn't know what you were getting into.
No.
You had no idea how many you've ever
I didn't know the number was.
When's the last time you bench pressed 65s?
Before we closed.
Probably, yeah. And you never really used them?
No.
And so, I mean, that's a new accomplishment. And sometimes you have to be challenged or challenge yourself to do something outside of your comfort zone. Like right now I'm playing tennis, right? Like it's just the easy, no contact sport that you can go out and be socially distanced or whatever it is. And it's frustrating because it's so new and I'm so used to being good at sports, right? And so it's like, my natural want is to just stop playing, right? I'm like, the sport's not really for me. It sucks. And, you know what I mean? Because I can't catch the football or shake you up in basketball.
Yeah.
And so it's like you either look at that in a negative way where you're just like, nah, it's not for me. And, this isn't whatever. And then you just kind of like shove it off to the side. Or you say, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself to like get better at this sport. And I'm going to lose some games. I'll tell you my record for tennis is probably 2-12. 2 wins, 12 losses. I'm not used to that at all.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
For you, that must be like you want to put a bullet in your head.
Exactly. And so, but I'm willing to fail, right? And that's the thing is that you got to be able to willing to fail with what it is that you're doing. But the key is to get back up.
Yeah. The road to success is paved through failure.
That's right.
How do you reboot your fitness? Let's say that you've been doing it for a year.
Yep.
Okay, we'll use a specific example. You've been doing it for a year, made all of these gains or losses, however you want to look at it, improved your body composition, got healthier, eating better. Coronavirus kicks in, back to square one, which is pretty much everybody now. If not, you might not even back to square one. You might be back to square -2 and -3. What do we do? What kind of advice can we give them to, regroup, start again?
Well, it depends. Like the number one thing is just get moving again, right? It depends. If you've fallen completely off, then the first thing I would tell you is to start the workouts, but start them at a half capacity, right? Like just do the body weight. So like today there was a lot of jumping, right? So like we were doing one jump every 3 seconds. I would tell you do one jump every 5 to 8 seconds or 5 to 10 seconds. Don't worry about trying to make up for lost time all in one workout. Like if you've taken 4 weeks off, give yourself 4 weeks to get yourself back into it.
Yeah.
And then, at that 4 weeks is a long period of time. You'll find that if with consistency, the first 4 days will be tough. Then after that, it just becomes a second nature. And within 7 days, you'll be back to pushing where you are. Now, physically, you're not going to be able to see the dramatic change like before you left Fit Club. But physically, you're going to start to feel good. And once you start to feel good, emotionally and mentally, your body's going to want to keep doing this because you're getting more rewards. And you'll find that you'll appreciate the small gains a lot more because you're like, okay, I remember I used to be able to do this, or I remember I used to be able to look like that. And now I'm like, okay, now I'm on the road to getting there. And you're never you're never complete in your fitness journey, right? Your nutrition's never on point.
That's
and
a
if
good
it
point.
is, then your fitness is failing.
Yeah.
Right. And if something is like, there's always elements to where you're at. And you just got to see, okay, today I was a 3 out of 5. Tomorrow I'm going to do this small thing to get me up to a 4.
Yep.
Right. So it's like tomorrow, instead of me eating, I don't know, 5 Nary's bars, I'm just going to eat 3. And that's a win. Boom, boom. Next day, I'm going to do 3 again. Next day, I'm going to do 3 again. Next day, I'm going to do 3 again. All right, you know what? Today, I'm going to challenge myself to do 2. Right?
Yep.
And the next thing you know, you're just doing 2.
Yeah.
And then you're eating. Like today, my thing is to hit my protein goals.
Yeah,
right?
you mentioned
like,
that, yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Like you would think a guy like me have my nutrition on point, but it's like, well, no, I know for the past 3 days, my nutrition's been low. And it's because I had that fried chicken and I was full all day. Right? It's like I can't put anything else. I had 4 pieces of fried chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that hit all my food macros, but my body is saying like we need more fluids and we need more macros.
Yeah. So a lot of people are suffering from depression, anxiety, a lot of the negative stressors in life. And in fact, the more that I talk to people, I almost feel like everybody is, you know, because everybody's stressed out, especially in a situation like this. When you have the fear of the unknown, everybody stresses.
Big time.
Whether it's one thing or another. How do you get people to, you know, when you get stressed out or depressed or whatever feeling you have going on, you don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're very much
stuck
into the couch.
Yeah.
And then you look for reasons, I guess, kind of maybe to complain or be angry, be negative. What would be something that you could tell somebody to kind of get, like, how do you get them working out again when you're stressed or angry or upset? What can you do?
So when you get that deep, first of all, you have to understand that we're all in the same boat where it's one day at a time, right? Like even last week, I felt everybody's tension, like meaning like my team's tension and including mine, because they just dropped it on us that, hey, we're in phase 2. Hey, you can do now 50 people social gathering, right? And you're just like, okay, I gotta read and react to this. But from this corona, I've learned just to like, okay, so take it in, digest it a little bit, formalize it, and then like take some action versus like feeling like you have to keep up with the Joneses. Right. And so if you feel like, and people have reached out to me and they feel like they're so far behind, it's like, you're not behind anybody. You know what I mean? Like it's just you and you.
Yep.
And then everything stems from that. So it doesn't matter what kind of family pressure you're feeling. Doesn't matter what pressure you're feeling from the government. Doesn't matter what Karen's saying, right? All that matters is how you feel and how you react to that, because nobody can control how you think or feel inside.
Yeah.
They can maybe control your body. They could lift your arm and make you do this.
Sure.
But they can't make you not, you know what I mean? Like feel bad about that.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's up to you. And so I would tell people is to literally just take it one day at a time, and don't get like stuck in fear, right? Like there's stuff that we need to fear, we need to be conscious of, but I think if you get paralyzed by anxiety and fear, then you're going to bring yourself further back. And so I think that, you know, number one is just to write stuff down, man, because everything that's in your head is like, it's stuck in there. It's stuck in your head, stuck in your heart. And as soon as you write it down, it's like you're just releasing energy.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, you know, goal setting is important, but you can't live in the future. You know, you really got to live in the present. And, you know, the number one thing is the only thing you can control is yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only thing you have control over. And the best way to improve yourself is through your health.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have health, you have nothing.
You have nothing.
You can have all the money in the world, but if you're unhealthy, right?
And also when people are setting goals, I think it's good to have a big goal. But I think if your goal is way too big and it's out of reach, unless you're very creative with the way that you're breaking down that goal. So you take a big goal, right? And then you break it down into smaller chunks, small achievable chunks, but most people don't do that. What most people do is they set a giant goal and then they just start going towards it, right? And then when that goal is too far out of reach, then they get frustrated when there's even a minor setback. Versus what I've learned is that let's just put down like we have 518 people in our group right now. Our goal is to get to 550. Yeah, it's phenomenal. We're at 94% of our goal, right? And you know, rewind 3 years ago, and I would say like we're setting our goal too low. Like this goal should be 1,000 people. But then I'm like realizing that it's just too big of a chunk for us to achieve. And then it's just like it's not just me in this; it's like my team. So if I set a grand goal, then they're going to be demotivated, and a lot of people will get demotivated by having too big of a goal. Right? So it's just like take a goal and just Have your big goal, but just have one small goal that you can achieve today.
So let's give some examples of some small goals.
Yeah.
Like water, drinking water is always a small goal. Like,
Yeah.
what are the small little things that we can be doing to get to the big goal, which of course is lose weight. I almost wish we wouldn't even say that anymore, to be perfectly honest, because I feel like when is it? When's the end? Okay, so you lost 5 pounds.
Talking about losing weight.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's the biggest challenge. One of the things, and that's I don't want to say negative self-talk, but that's sort of an unrealistic goal because what is it? So I guess you can say to yourself, well, I want to hit 150 pounds or whatever it is, but what if your body fat is still too high? What if your muscle mass is still too low? Why is weight so goddamn important? And how did we grow up thinking that was the be-all, end-all of the numbers? I feel like it's detrimental. But anyways, so let's
easy. It's easy to assess.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like the number in your bank account, does that determine your happiness? Right? And so it's like we just focus on how much money we have in the bank. We don't focus on the beautiful house that we have. We don't focus on the lifestyle that we have. We don't focus on the freedom that we have. We just focus on what is that overall number sitting in our bank? What's our overall number on our investments?
Right.
It's just a currency that is easy to track.
So perspective is probably a good answer.
Perspective,
the way you see things. Yeah. I mean, hey, you can say, I gained 20 pounds, but what are the 5 good things that just happened to you today, right? Perspective is everything, in my opinion. Mindset is everything, in my opinion. And you're right about the fitness journey. It never ends. So even if you're taking 5 steps back, you're going to take 10 steps forward eventually. And you got to remember that you're never going to have your perfect body ever, but you're going to you're going to always try. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And eventually you're going to love yourself and things are going to go in the right direction. So if somebody says, I'm at my goal, so let's just fast forward. Instead of looking at the negative, let's look at the positive. Okay, I'm at my goal, RJ. Now what?
So you're at your goal, and then
I'm at my goal. Weight, I feel like I look really good. I feel like I'm my core strength is really good. I like the way I look in pants. I don't feel like I have gut aches all the time. I don't have explosive diarrhea. I'm happy with my husband or wife. Now what do I do?
Pay it forward.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, pay it forward. That's one of the things that I've always adopted very early is how can I help? And that's why when you work with me, I'm teaching you how to do social media. I'm teaching you how to do right copy. And that's the only way that my teammates are going to be around me and how they're going to get success. I mean, I've got 2 guys that work for me. I've got multiple guys in the city that work for me now. They're opening up their own gyms, or I've got another guy who's the GM of Good Life. You know what I mean? They all work for me. So like, to me, that is like a sign of success personally out of life. But through fitness, how do you help somebody? Well, you find somebody that you can teach them the ways, right? So how are they able to overcome overeating during COVID? How are they able to continue to work out 7 days a week, twice a day during COVID, right? And it's up to you. If you feel like there's people out there that have fallen off, maybe somebody that you work out, reach out to them, really help out. And bring them up to where you are. And then this way you're not just driving your own car. You have other people that are in your vehicle with you. And it motivates you because as soon as somebody, they're going to start coming to you with questions. You're going to start to do a little bit of research. And as soon as you start to get excited about something, it's something that you're going to continuously get better at. And it's something that's going to be, you're going to want to constantly improve, right? And so, like I said, when somebody asks you a question, you're going to do the research, you're going to implement it into your life. Now you're like, okay, I just learned this new thing.
Yeah.
Right? And so that excites you to keep going.
That's a good answer. Pay it forward. I like that. So let's finish up with this. So we're in a gray area. You're allowed to have a group fitness of 10 or less.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
But I don't know what that means.
But you can't have a social gathering of 50 or less. So
and it's so confusing, and I honestly I couldn't, unless somebody forwarded me the exact document. I've only seen it as a post somewhere hidden.
But that is what we're dealing with.
The government document that I
area?
have says that the social gatherings is 50.
Okay.
So I'm sure that somebody's going to let me know.
And that's what we've all
send
heard.
Me the link.
We've all heard that. That's
all we heard.
Yeah.
And so I wrote an email today, and I was like, well, CBC was doing an article about social gatherings of 50 people. I wasn't saying that they condone it or anything like that. I'm just saying they were out talking about how now basically there's social gatherings of 50 and under, right? And so there just isn't like a concrete, what can we do? And I think that you can't, host a session outdoors and get paid for it. Right? Like, what's the difference? Because we're Fit Club and somebody goes out and they're going to have a big family barbecue. All of a sudden they say, hey, guys, part of today's game is we're all going to do a 30-minute workout.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, is that illegal?
Yeah.
Right?
But that doesn't sound illegal.
Well,
it doesn't.
But is it?
But because it's a gathering of 50 or less.
Yeah.
You just happen to be doing some squats in between.
Yeah. And we're socially distanced outdoors.
Yeah.
We're abiding by everything. But for some reason, people can't host a fitness class outdoors of 10 or more people.
Yeah.
I don't get that. Like, even though even outdoors you have more space, I get it that like you can't run a business. From what I've heard is that you can't run a business outdoors because you got to get permits, and you can have other people in there. But we're fitness enthusiasts. The coaches that are out there, they'll work around each other. In fact, another group was supposed to be at the hill at the same time as us, and they decided to move their workout to the other side. But that's a huge mountain.
Yeah.
We could have easily put 6 to 8 groups out there, plus the fields, and you know what I mean? And we all still would have been socially distanced. So I think that people are going to just adjust and they're going to make changes as they go. But I don't know, like, what is the standpoint on that?
I don't know.
Right?
I see it like this. If you can jam Walmart full of people that aren't socially distanced because you got to jam them in aisles, you can put 25 people on top of a hill and put them through a workout.
Yeah.
So are we going to do another workout? End it with that. Outdoor workout.
We'll see.
We leave it mysterious. Good job today, guys.
Yeah.
Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Go to Fit Club Media and subscribe to our channel.